students, so now we're going to be doing our color wheel. So this is going to be dealing with the secondary and primary colors. So the things that you're going to need for this color wheel are, you're going to need your actual paper that has the wheel on it with the label designs. You're going to need a pencil. You're going to need a pen. And you're going to need 3 colors. These are your 3 primary colors. So I want you to actually get a true red. These don't say it just because they're all little stubs, but I want it to say just red. So I need a red color. Same with the yellow. It needs to say yellow. Nothing else. I don't want different hues. I want them to be their purest color. So yellow, and then also blue. Just blue. All right. So those are the 3 colors we're going to need. Now, this is what it looks like right now, and this is what it's going to look like. So we have our orange, we have our yellow, green, blue, purple, and red. Now, this is a primary color, this is a primary color, and this is a primary color. A primary color means the first colors in the color scheme. From these primary colors, we can create secondary colors by mixing them together. So the yellow and the red create the orange. The yellow and the blue create the green. And the red and the blue create the purple. So primary colors are extremely important in the color wheel. You have to have them in order to make all of these colors. And then from the secondary colors, you can make different other colors by mixing them together and stuff like that. So primary colors, very important. Then what we're going to do is we're going to label color wheel at the top, and red, orange, and yellow. These colors are warm colors. Warm colors are like the sun. It normally in paintings represents happiness. It represents good times, being comfortable, and summertime a lot of the time. These are what these colors represent. And then green, blue, and purple represent like the winter times. A lot of the times it can represent sadness, sad times. It can represent discomfort. So all of these are very important colors to be able to have on your color wheel, and they're important because when you put them against one another, like remember in our other picture, it had those bright blues and it had those really bright yellows and oranges, and they put them together against each other and made them pop. And that's super duper important. All right, so I'm not gonna do the whole color wheel. I'm just gonna show you a couple what I did, because that'll take too long and it's quite redundant. But if you need to pause the video and just pause it on this one to be able to refer back to yours and to be able to look at this one and then look at yours and copy it, I would do that right now. All right. I'm also going to do that at the end of the video, so you can just pause it at the end and continue on. So first what we're going to do is we're going to start off with our blue. With our blue. And that's the only primary color I'm gonna do. The red goes right here and the yellow goes right here because it's kind of redundant and I don't want to have to do it over and over again. So what I did to make it look nice is I took it along the edge and I created a border. Now I want you to be very, very particular with this. I want you to do a good job, don't rush. I want it to look very nice and done with excellence and diligence. So I bear down pretty hard for the border to make it look very, very crisp and to make it bright. There we are. So the border's complete. And I go over any white spots that I might see. Like that. Make sure it's quite even. All right. So now what I do is I color the inside. And I take a very, very, very light hand You want to be very light-handed with this. You don't want to like I did with the border. You just want to go like this, very light hand, because you can still see the blue, but it looks nicer this way. And I make it one continuous line, and I keep going up and down like this. I don't stop. I don't stop in the middle like that. I keep it going like this. I don't want to stop. I don't want to do it like this and then like this, because I'm going to have one blue line going through the middle. So you're going to just keep it going like this, one continuous line. And you keep doing that until the very, very end. Alrighty then. So if you need to go over some spots because they look a little too light, that's the time to do that, is right now. Just going over some spots. Looks a little light right here. Okie dokie. And if you get a little bit out, not a big deal. Get your color pencil. Use the eraser. A lot of the times it's pretty easy to get most of the color off. I got a little bit out of line right here. And then I go back over. There we go. So that's the blue done. Now for the green, what we're gonna do, this is important because it's hard to kind of blend your color pencils together. So you need to do a base, just like I'm telling you to, at different pressures. And I'll show you what I mean by pressures. So you saw how we did really light here and how we did really dark here on the outer corner. With the yellow, you're gonna go really dark all throughout. So you're gonna take your yellow, and this is for the green, by the way. You're gonna take your yellow and you're gonna go pretty dark. I'm leaving a little bit of edge so I can do my border later on. So, I think that's good enough. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna get your blue and you're gonna go very light-handed with the blue, because if you go too dark-handed, it covers up the yellow completely and you do not get a green color. See that? Pretty cool, right? So now it's changing into green. And we're gonna blend these colors again by putting yellow back on top of it. Now I'm going very light-handed with the blue, as I said before. Keep it up, kids, and do very light hands. You don't want to make it just another blue color. If you want to, get a scrap of paper and practice on the scrap of paper blending your colors before you actually do it on your color wheel. That way you have an idea of what you're supposed to do and how hard you're supposed to press on your pencils. And that way you don't mess up your color wheel by doing it wrong the first time. This is what I did. I did the exact same thing. I went over and I figured out the different types of pressures I needed to do it to make it actually look like the color. So now I'm gonna grab my yellow again, and I'm gonna go over that blue and yellow and I'm gonna blend it. And you might have to do this a couple of times to get the desired shade of green that you want. I did it quite a few times for this one. I did it quite a few times. I did it a lot for this one. This one needs it probably the most. So I'm gonna go over it again with some blue. It's because I want to see how green I can get it. Alrighty, so now for the edge, can't remember what I did. Oh yeah, okay, so I did a yellow edge and then I put the blue very lightly on top, just kind of like I did right here. So for the edge, I'm gonna go over, pressing very hard with my yellow. being very meticulous with the line. I don't want it to go everywhere. I want it to go in one certain spot. So I'm gonna go around the edge. I'm gonna go straight. All right, and then I'm gonna get the blue. I'm gonna go lightly on top, bearing down. Actually, probably just a teeny bit harder because I wanna make this green really pop. I want it to actually look like a line apart from the rest of the coloring. Okay. That's such a pretty green color too. It's one of my favorite green colors. It's like a spring green. All right, now I'm gonna grab the yellow. I'm just gonna go over those little spots that I missed the first time, very lightly, like that. Gonna grab some blue, go over those same spots. Like that. Grab the yellow again and blend it. And then there we have our green. All right, so the green is done. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to be working on the orange. So for the orange in here, the best way, I think I did a yellow base and I did the red and then I did the yellow on top. So just like this one. And so you have to be very careful. Hey Lonnie, could you go and, Miss Lonnie, could you please go and sharpen that? So you have to be very careful with this one because the red really overpowers the yellow and you have to bear extremely lightly with the red pencil. Just use it in the video, it doesn't matter. They know you're sharpening. Okay. Okay, there's our sharpened pencil by Miss Lonnie, thank you. So again, I'm gonna do the border. Oops, sorry, I hit it. I'm gonna do the border first this time just because it's a lot bigger and it's a lot more ground to cover. I'm bearing down very hard with this border, as you should be with all your borders in this color wheel. Alrighty, and then I'm going to do a light wash of yellow. Remember, we're doing orange, so we're gonna be putting red with it a little later on. And I'm just gonna go over it to make sure that it's clear yellow. Alrighty, now we're gonna grab our red and very lightly go over the yellow. Okay, it is kind of hard to do it your first times and even your second time. I really do encourage you to try it out on a piece of paper and figure out what works best for you. All right, so you can see a little bit of orange in this, not much. Right now it just looks like yellow and red kind of together. So now we're gonna grab our yellow again and blend it. This time I'm bearing down pretty hard. right, I'm seeing more orange now, so that's good. Okay, that looks a little too yellow to me. I'm gonna go over it with some red. And you're really just kind of experimenting. That's what artists do. They find out something that works for them, and they experiment with it. I'm going down on the yellow pretty hard again. Just there with the red, I had done it very lightly, as aforementioned. All right, does that look good enough, Lonnie? It's not as orange as this one. I did a lot with this one, but it's kind of yellow actually. Does that look good enough, or do you think I should go over it? And we're going over it again? That looks pretty orange, right? Yep. Alrighty then. Okay, now we're gonna do the border. So we're gonna take our red, we're gonna lightly go over the yellow. I was just blowing off the dust from the coloring pencils. Go around the border. Ooh. You see why I'm not gonna do the whole coloring wheel with you guys though, because like this is pretty elementary stuff. You guys are pretty smart. I think you can do it without me showing you every step of the way. You smart kiddos. Alrighty, so that looks good enough to me. If you got any mistakes out of the line, like I did right here, just go ahead, take your eraser, just erase a little bit and it should go right away. All right, so we got that done, and next we're gonna do the purple. This one is going to take quite a few layers. Should I even do the purple? I should do the purple, right?
It's the most difficult, so.
Yeah. This one's going to take a couple of layers. So, the color pencils that you're going to need are your, ooh, I already grabbed them. Whoops, I dropped it. Your blue and your red. So, if we refer back to my cheat sheet, what did I do? I did a red base and I did light blue color on top, and then I did red on top. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna take my red. I'm gonna do a pretty, it's kind of a medium base actually. I'm using a medium type of, not pressing down like this. I'm not pressing down like this. I'm doing this. So like a medium type of pressure. I'm gonna go all the way down to the bottom. This one I'm not gonna do a border on just because it's easier to do it afterwards. All right, there we go, got that down. Now we're gonna take our blue, we're gonna go over top with light hand. Wow, look at that, that's cool, right? I love mixing colors, it's so fun. When you guys get back in school, we'll be doing this with paint, so it won't be as much. I mean, you'll still have to blend, but it'll be a different type of blending. It's easier with paints. It's still cool to see the colors though come with the layering of pencils. Now, take our red again, go over top. And artists use this technique all the time. They're always layering colors, they're always mixing things. I think it was Miss Margaret who said she had an art teacher who had a panel full of paint, and his panel was so disgusting because he would never wash it and would just keep mixing his colors to create new colors, and that's the way he liked it. That's how he liked to paint. So different artists have different ways of doing things. All right, that looks pretty purplish to me. I might need a little more blue in certain areas. I'm creating a pretty dark purple here just to make it pretty vibrant. And then I'm gonna take our red. I think that looks good enough, right, y'all? I'm gonna take our red, we're gonna create our border. So we're gonna bear down hard on the red. Whoops, I got out of the line right there. Oh, it's okay, I'll fix it later. I'm gonna bear down pretty hard on the red. Go around the edges. Make sure there's straight lines. I want no crooked lines here. And then go around this border. I'm gonna take our blue. We're gonna go lightly around or on top of the red. Create a purple border. Okay, now just to cover up these white spots, gonna grab our red. We're gonna go lightly around the edges, putting the white right here. And guys, while you're doing this art, because I know you're gonna have the video paused at the end because I'm gonna show you the finished one, you can be listening to things. So you can listen to some audiobooks. You can make it really fun. You can listen to some music if you want to. I like personally listening to audiobooks. They're my favorite. That way it keeps my brain occupied. So, we have that. I'm gonna just try to make it a uniform color, go around the edges because we're striving for excellence here. We're not striving to get something done very fast. Go around with red again just to blend everything out. Oof, this is hurting my hand. This part is so pokey. And then I think that's it. I think that looks pretty good. All right, does that look purple enough? Or does it need to be more blue around the edges, Miss Leilani?
More blue on the edges.
She's our camera lady for today, so. Gonna try to make it look more purple and less red. So I'm bearing down a little bit harder on the blue just to blend it a little bit more around the edge. All right. And there we have our purple color. So, where's my pencil? There it is. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna just try to erase right there. I got a little bit out of line. And I got a lot of bit out of line over here. Grab our blue, over it. All right. Now, this one is gonna be your yellow and this one's gonna be your red, but you guys can figure out how to do it since I showed you how to do the blue and it's only one color. It's gonna be the exact same thing as the blue. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna label. What I want you to do is I want you to firstly grab your pencil and I want you to label the top one, which is gonna just be simply color wheel. So capital C, capital O, all capital letters. So I put cool. See, even I messed up. I was thinking ahead. I was thinking what we were gonna label next. Okay, color. Like that. And then wheel. All right, I'm gonna grab your pen. Then you're gonna go over it. You want your letters to reach the top of the line, the bottom of the line, make it look nice. My hands are really shaky, I didn't even have caffeine, this is weird. All right, wheel. Like that. Then once it's dried, it hasn't had enough time, you're gonna go over with your eraser and you're gonna erase the pencil. So remember what we talked about? These were our cool colors and these are our warm colors. So that's what we're gonna label on these sides. So you're gonna label cool on this side, grab your pencil. Capital letters, and then warm on this side. Oops, I don't like that W. I'm gonna grab your pen and go over it. I showed you how to do that, you can figure it out. So, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna label our actual colors. We're gonna label the primary colors and the secondary colors, and then the names, so the blue and the red and the yellow and stuff. Let's start with orange. So orange is a secondary color because it's the second color of the red and the yellow. It's like their little baby. So because we mixed them together. So we're gonna do secondary. On top, we're gonna use our pencil. We're gonna use capital letters again. I made mine way too big. Try to do better than me. But that's it, secondary over there, and then we're gonna do orange on the bottom. Normally what I do is I would just try to erase this one pretty good and then use my pen and redo it, but I'm not gonna do that because I don't really want to. So, and then you go over it with your pen. I'm gonna try to make mine a little smaller so it's not gonna go quite along with my pencil to fit on the line. And my pen's dying. My pen's dying, is it supposed to die? Is it out of ink?
Are you going down too hard?
No. Oops. or orange on bottom. So, I don't think that's dry. It's not dry enough for me to just go around the edges and erase. What I would do is I would go around the edges and erase, and then I would just take my yellow and my red and I would just go over the erased parts and make it more even. So you're gonna do that with the rest of them, just like I did here. You're gonna put secondary on the ones that we've mixed together, and you're gonna put primary on the ones that are by themselves. So I'll do the blue for you guys. So we're gonna do primary. And then write blue underneath. And then I'm grabbing my pen and going over top. Okay, do not forget to put your name and date at the top here. That's very important so I can tell who did what. Don't forget to go over your letters with a pen and to erase, I think this is dry, and to erase the pencil. So that, look how crisp that looks. Wow, warms my heart. Oof, that's not gonna work. This is not dry yet, so we're not gonna even touch that one. But you know, you get the gist. You know what you're supposed to do. Okay, so that's what we did. This is what it needs to look like. So I want you to just, was it out of frame the whole time?
Nope.
Then I want you to just pause your video and be able to just look back to here and see how we write everything and how it's all done. So pause the video now. All right, bye guys. Thank you so much.